I'm Lynn Berry. Well, was it murder or self-defense? Michael Dunn is on trial for shooting and killing a Florida teen, Jordan Davis. Investigators say an argument over loud music is what led to the shooting. And I'm joined now by criminal defense attorney Kirby Clements. Kirby, so good to see you. You know, Dunn admits he did shoot at the SUV full of teens. He's using his self-defense because he says he thought he heard them say kill him. He thought he saw a gun. There was no gun found in the truck. You know, this could wrap up this week. Do you think that's a good or bad sign for the prosecution? That's pretty quick.
Well, you know, it's quick, but sometimes that's good, because when you're quick, you're like, there's no issue here. We know he shot him. His statements were he thought it was either a shotgun or a pipe, so that's a pretty huge gun, I think is what he said, shotgun or pipe. So for the prosecution, if your case goes in clean and no hiccups, you don't have to go back and double check things, it's great.
Let's talk about the similarities between the Zimmerman case and the Dunn case. Everyone pointing to really the argument of self-defense. Do you feel like your life is in danger to the point that you have no way of getting out of it other than defending yourself with lethal force? Is this a case where that applies?
I would have to say no, because there are several things. One, self-defense, it has to be an imminent fear of harm. So even if you take his story as true, the fact that the car was shot as it was driving off sort of negates self-defense, because the person is fleeing and you really can't shoot somebody in the back. That's number one.
Yep.
Number two, he shot into a car with there are four people there, three of whom didn't threaten him, one of whom had just gotten back into the car, so why are you doing that? Additionally, he didn't call the police. And so if you think that that these people had a gun and they were going to kill you, then they're a threat to the public, and you didn't notify the cops, and you fired into the vehicle and didn't notify the cops. So there are several things that negate self-defense. I understand the Trayvon Martin comparisons, but I would suggest to people that one of the issues is with Trayvon Martin, anytime you have the killer's version of the events and the physical evidence doesn't refute it, then it's going to go favorable for the person who did the killing. In this case, we've got eyewitnesses who were there and can say, whatever he's telling you, it didn't happen that way.
I think you make such a good point, especially because Michael Dunn left the scene, did not call police, as you said, went to his hotel room with his girlfriend and ordered a pizza. How does that sit with the jury when you have a teenager dead, when there's no gun found, there's no evidence that there was any threat, there was music being played in a car? Take me inside the mind of a juror that's sitting there and hearing all this evidence.
Well, I think a juror who might first think I would be afraid would begin to start, and this is important for the prosecution, it has to happen this way. That juror might be sympathetic to Mr. Dunn at first, because they're like, oh, that music scares me. I've been there when young teens are all playing that loud music and it's terrifying. And so they're going to sympathize with him. But then they're going to start looking and start going, wait a minute. We've got like four, I think there are actually 8 shots, three or four shots into the front door of the passenger who didn't do anything except turn the radio down, and they saw that guy testify. So they're like, well, he didn't seem terrifying. And then they've got the other shots in the back. Then they're going to start looking, and wait a minute, and the car was driving off. They're going to start really piecing things together, and then they'll say to themselves, if I put myself in his shoes, what would I have done next? And none of them are going to say I'd have ordered a pizza.
And gone to a hotel and not called police. It'll be interesting to see how this week plays out. Kirby, so good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Take care. A nice story.